Yeah, what is going on, everybody? We are back with another episode of From My Experience podcast. Yes, we are back. Y'all have had a lot of guest filled episodes, but now the host and the co host with the most are back. We didn't forget about y'all. We have quite a few things to talk about today. Hope you have your notebook out or your notes app, or just I hope you've had your coffee or tea or whatever it is to get you started during the day, or if it's nighttime, this probably won't mellow you out. So I don't know how I feel about that. But anyway, we got some good stuff for you today. Some nuggets are definitely going to be dropped. Some gems are going to be dropped. And we hope that you absorb these things and you can use them for the betterment of your life. And if not for you, pass them along to somebody else. Shout out to you, all of our listeners, everyone who is continuing to support, like, share, and subscribe. Excuse me, I'm definitely seeing a shift. I'm seeing a change. I'm seeing a difference, and it's much appreciated, y'all. Like, the more y'all show us the love and support, the more we can do, the more people we can reach. And that is very, very, very important because you know that we promote positivity. Speaking of positivity, we are positively excited to have our affiliates, Retro Mimi. If you are a gamer, they sell open source handheld devices and you can put your games on them and take your gaming to go. We also have Black Water. They sell water that is literally black. It is black because of the minerals in it, and it comes in different flavors, and that is a delicious treat for you, for those people who like to work out, or if you're just around the house and you want some water but you want some flavor in it with a little bit more added benefits, there you go. We also have Garner's Garden. Yes, Garner's Garden sells all natural products, hair care, skin care, oral health care. I am actually using some of their beard products, and I am actually noticing a difference. My beard is softer, and I actually cut my beard not too long ago, and I did notice that it came back kind of with a quickness. So shout out to Garner's Garden on that one. Jot Forms. Jot Forms. Those of you who need to collect information from people in a timely fashion, in a convenient fashion, and you just need to be no mess, no fuss. Jot Forms allows you to create a variety of documents and even collect signatures. You just have to create what you want, send it to the other person, and when they complete it, it comes back to you in a nice, neat email, and just stored right on their website for you to view, download, or whatever you need to do with it. It is a beautiful tool. I love it. I've been using it for years, so make sure you check out Jot Forms. And last, but certainly not least, Acre Gold. Those of you who are looking for a nice little passive investment, you can subscribe and pay monthly for bars of gold. They sell 2.5 gram bars of gold, and they sell 5 gram bars of gold. And once you sign up, the money comes out of your account, and once your money hits the threshold, boom, you will get your gold bar in a nice discreet package in the mail. They are legit. The reason I keep saying they are legit is because people like to comment and talk trash about them. There's 2 videos on our Instagram page. I already have my second gold bar. I should have my third one in a couple of months. It is real gold. They're nice, neat, professional packaging with their own serial number, and they are certified. So it is the real deal. Just wanted to put that out there because I really like their customer service. Their customer service is spectacular, let me tell you. Whew. Anyway, shout out to our affiliates. Now, I'm not alone today. I have the co-host with the most, who is always, yes, vibrating higher, Miss Jessica Fountain. Hello.
Hello. How are you? Hello,
Sleepy.
world. We are back. Uh, yeah, life is good. No complaints. Navigating. I'm like looking at you, and it's like you're like channeled into my forehead
What?
or something.
Well, I mean, you're taking up like a majority of my screen, so I'm looking at all of
And
you.
you're like, hmm.
Ain't you supposed to look at people when you talk to them? You know what's funny?
Yeah, but you like soul stirring. I tell you, I can feel like people don't believe that. I
Oh,
feel everything. Like my clients, like it's a real thing. So it felt like you literally like threw a bullseye, a target on the bullseye board, and like stuck me in the head and like commanded my attention.
You
Like,
know what the funny thing is about what you're saying? I'm looking at the web camera. So I don't even, you're in my peripheral vision right now. Like it looks like on your end that I'm looking at you on the computer screen, but I'm looking at the little dot that is my web camera. So I'm not even.
well, the energy coming out of your dot through my dot is intense.
Connect the
Okay,
dots. I don't know. I was
okay.
through. I just threw it to you. I don't know.
Yeah, you threw it. You like a fishing line. You threw it, hooked me, and I was like, okay, where do I go? Okay, okay.
Yeah, I just do your thing. Hello world.
Hello world. That's what I got.
All right, y'all. We really have two main topics. The first we're gonna start with is the unfortunate passing of Earl Simmons, better known as DMX, who was a hip hop artist who came out in the early '90s. I just had deja vu like a mug just now.
Mm.
Let me put my phone on mute. I feel
Yeah,
like
you
some
should do that because I've already done that
I didn't.
today.
Ooh, I'm remembering. I feel like I had a dream about this moment. Um,
Let me make sure. I'm pretty sure I did it though already.
the and there is a huge. This hit different. This hit different. His passing hit different. I did not do my research, so I really don't know what happened. There have been a couple of theories. A couple of people have said things. I don't even know if an official cause has been released, so I'm not even gonna speculate. I just know that he is no longer with us. But I do know that the
Okay, that was probably not the best time to laugh. I apologize. I was not laughing at the fact that he's passed away. I just want to make that
you
clear.
can tell the people why you was laughing, so you won't seem so insensitive. I
I
I
was
know you're not
laughing.
insensitive, but I'm like,
I was laughing at you. Like I don't even want to speculate,
I
but
don't.
he is no longer with us. I was laughing at that,
Oh,
but
yeah, because people are saying crazy stuff, and I'm like, y'all, if you don't know, then just he's not here, and let's not make it a headline about people make it more about how you passed and what you did versus giving you the peace and respect of he's passed. So I don't want to say the wrong thing either because I wouldn't want someone to say it about me. So I don't want to speculate. But we do know that he was highly impactful. Like, and I guess maybe it's because of the groups I run in and so social media. This one hit very different. Like we know that there have been a lot of passings, especially in the black community, of some of our I don't know, highly revered figures, for lack of a better word. But I'm in a lot of music groups, gamer groups, and DMX's DNA is embedded everywhere in hip hop culture, in gaming culture. He's been in video games. His music is in multiple video game soundtracks. He's
really,
done
I did
movies.
not know that.
Oh
I mean, I
yeah.
know that I know his music is influential.
Hmm.
Like I get that. I didn't know the video games part.
Yeah, Def Jam Vendetta was a wrestling game. Def Jam, the music company, put out a wrestling game, and artists were the wrestlers in the game. He was in there. Um, yeah.
Sorry.
He was. What was that?
It was like my DMX impersonation, but I have a whole nother memory. But we
um,
gonna keep moving for now.
Yeah, I will definitely share one of my memories. And this is when I really kind of, not even kind of, this is where I really connected with DMX. I grew up in Philly. Rough Rider was popping all over the place. DMX actually came out. I forgot what grade I was in, but I know my neighbor upstairs, Ronnie, he had the tape. This is cassette tapes, y'all. Cassette tapes. I had a tape player, and man, I used to pop that tape in, play one side, flip it, pop the other, like. Y'all been eating
Not
long enough.
popping.
Stop being greedy. Keep it real, partner. Get it to the nitty. Ribs and cha-cha. So don't make me wait. Go round them, I'm gonna bite you. Bite the plate. Like, yo, or snatch the plate, excuse me. Yeah, like, that was like some of the hype. That's like the equivalent of Southern Crunk before Southern Crunk really came out, man. That was him.
Yeah.
Another memory I have is when I got my first car. He saved my life. Yo, I got my first car. Shout out to Miss Greer. My dad bought a car from his friend, and I had to drive it from Philadelphia to South Carolina. This is a 10 to 12 hour drive. Ain't no CD player. It had a tape player. And I don't know where I found it, but I found an old tape, and it was a DMX album. And I played that thing from Philly all the way to South Carolina, yo. And I can't remember which album it was. It was the one that has a whatever song he has on it. I think it's called Damien, where he like has an alter ego that wants him to do some like bad stuff. Whatever album that was the album it was. And I never forget that, man, because I'm like, yo, I cannot make it. Like, if you've ever driven a long distance, trying to find radio stations is the most nerve-wracking thing. And you got no CD player, this is before the age of MP3, Apple Music, and all this stuff churn. So
I'm thinking about the act of trying to find a radio station, which I don't do it often, but every now and then when you are on the road and you have to hit scan and it goes, you go through all, these stations.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, stop.
Yeah, stop.
Stop it. I need it.
Please stop. I never knew how to stop it, but I'm just thankful for some of the
that you hit the first time, the scan button. You just hit it again. FYI.
I don't know the last time I used the radio, but I will definitely keep that in mind because I hop in the car and I'm on Bluetooth from my phone immediately. But yeah, those are some of my memories. I'm thankful for the impact that he left. He was despite the content of his music and what people may think, he was very spiritual. He always referenced the Lord a lot in his music. There was definitely an internal struggle of righteousness. I know the right thing to do, but yo, I'm in this situation. I got to do what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't understand that. If you've never been in that type of situation, it's really hard for you to understand. It's like, well, how can you be so such and such with God, but you're this such and such person? It's like, bro, the struggles. When people say the struggle,
because we are complex.
Yes,
there's such things. Like, we are very complex beings, and I think that if we honor that complexity, then maybe we would not feel the need to numb out pieces of our lives, which I think in his case, that was a big part of his story and a big part of his personal challenge of drug abuse and all of these different things, like using music and substances to kind of numb that space. And I'm speaking kind of hypothetically, but we know that he had drug abuse. We know that that was that complexity of being deeply rooted in faith, but then also feeling conflicted. And I was talking about that today. That's actually a good conversation in and of itself, but we'll table that for the moment. But yeah, my memory of DMX, my favorite song is How's It Going Down. And I remember,
how'd that go?
I'm politicking with this chicken, wondering if I should creep a little hood rabbit. Coming through like I do, getting my bark on. Knew she was a thug because when I met her, she had a scarf on. I'm only laughing because, again, you have tagged me in the head with your glare. And you're like, oh my God, these words are coming out of Jessica's mouth.
First of all, I didn't expect you to. I thought I was gonna get
I spit bars.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting bar. The impact of DMX, y'all. If you're gonna do it, you got to do it with him. And there's very few artists that I can remember and quote like. So, but continue.
So there you have it.
Y'all, what y'all gonna see Jessica's face?
I know, right? But yeah, I remember just falling in love with that song for some reason. And like, even I had an exercise. I was trying to see like, what about the song? Like, I really, even now I read the lyrics and it's not like, oh, I'm so disconnected from it. It's just like, what about it? But sometimes it's just the energy of people, their passion, and you just link to the passion of the song, because the beginning of the song is quite toxic. The beginning of the song, he like just calls out all kinds of things. It like when the song comes on, the first 30 seconds is like voicemail. I don't even want to go into it. It's very explicit. Gotcha. But the song itself, like, I really enjoyed it. And then I remember, now this was in my greener years, when I thought because it's DMX, ends in an X, I transposed things. I kind of got him confused with the locks. This was on the school bus, so I'm painting a picture of how young I was.
Mm-hmm.
And I said it to my classmates, and they were like, "What? Like that? No, that's not that." And um, but later I found out that he collaborated with
Rough
them, like
Riders. They're all part of
yeah,
Rough
like
Riders,
all of
so
that was
they
together. So
they got mad songs together.
right. So then they tried to play me. Like I'm traumatized by it, like in youth, and then come to find out, like I wasn't that far off. It
Right.
wasn't like I thought he was Jay-Z, like
Yeah.
So yeah, I really
Hmm.
I saw this post by uh Russell Simmons, and it was really a good post of how he talked about him and just culturally um how we in some ways failed him. Like someone can be so gifted and give us their whole soul, which
Mm-hmm.
is going to your point of you can't just half sing it. Like
Yeah.
because he didn't half sing it. He came to you with a rawness and a just really unique, authentic voice. Yet I feel like there's so, and this is not to be insensitive, but to know his story and to know his issues and his personal struggles, it's like we knew this about him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I knew this about him, you knew this about him. So therefore, the people in his closest circle knew that this was an issue, but many of them laughed and joked and like that's just D, uh or X, however you
Mm-hmm.
affectionately know him as. But it's like we have to do a better job in being actively invested in our circle. And I don't say waste your time on everybody. Like you can't heal the whole culture. You can't heal every person,
Yep.
every black person. Like that's not what I'm saying at all. But
Oof.
when we are around people, I mean, I'm sure you have fiends in your family, crackhead addiction, all of these different things, pieces, or if even not within your family, people that like within your community that you talk to, it's like I can think of like a few names just off of like in my life experience of people that I know that are just struggling,
Yep.
but they are so good at struggling
Mm-hmm.
that it kind of becomes a part of their identity. So
Yep.
therefore, when they are able to cope with it on, and like as with any any type of uh, dominant figure, you have to have a high discipline or brain capacity to like be able to endure certain things. So when you think about like Jay-Z, Diddy, or Kobe, and I don't know why I just named all black males, but just people in general,
Yep.
they have a strong willpower. Like when you look at documentaries, Tina Turner, there's so many different people that I've looked at their stories, and what I'm reminded of is the discipline within their like mental, whether that's good or bad, however that discipline plays out, it's
Yep.
a very disciplined mind. And so like I feel like we have to do better with being able to um, nurture on our friends in a way like when you see them really taking a deep dive off of the cliff. That may be uncomfortable. That may not be the conversation that you want to have. Um, like,
Mm-hmm.
but it's necessary to be able to say difficult things to people that you really care about.
Yep.
And going back to my original point, Russell Simmons was just talking about that, like how he was saddened, just how we failed him, because this is long term. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of shocking that is in a way like it happened now, like because these things are not even more. It's not like, oh, I saw that last week. Yeah, like my memories are actually going back years of when you knew something was off, and so all of those years, it's just like, dang. And Michael Jackson, same thing. Like
Yeah.
people being, because they're so caught up in the hype of, not just of fame, because it's like the hype of a person, who they are, who, like, we attach people's traumas to them, and like, oh, that's just who they are. They're like Wendy Williams. She can just be a bitch, like, or use bitchy language,
Yeah.
not calling her a bitch. But like those are people that you're like, that's just who they are. But that doesn't make it
It
okay,
doesn't make
and
it
it doesn't
okay at
make
all.
it,
Yeah.
no, they don't have to be like me, but there's a healthy way of living. And I think that, how do we, you know, really be community in our circle of friends in a way that you can look back and at least you can say you tried.
You
Like,
know,
you can't make anybody drink the water, but you
yeah.
can, show them, expose them to water, say, hey, have you tried the water? I
Yeah.
will I will hold your hand through this.
There's a
So
yeah, there's a flip side to what you're saying. The biggest difference is, and we got to remember where we are now with talking, and then we're just in our next subject, y'all, just health and wellness, right? The conversations we have now, they weren't even having 5 years ago about mental health and are you okay? Like, we didn't even talk to each other like this. Like, it was just
right.
like, man up, and then women are just emotional. That's just how black and white it was for us. We weren't talking about therapy. Therapy? Are you crazy? I'm not crazy. Like, so like, cause one of my line brothers, shout out to Jason, sent me a clip of DMX talking about how his addiction started. It was a friend he looked up to. This is DMX saying this out of his own mouth. It was like a friend he looked up to, like a big brother. He was in his teens, young kid, man. And the guy gave him some weed, and it was laced with crack. And he was like, "Why would you do that to me?" He didn't tell him it was laced. He told him afterward, and it was like, "Why would you do that to me?" So this is something that he's been hooked. He passed, what, he was 50, I believe, early 50s. This is something that's been a part of his life for over 20 years, 30 years, and I have heard celebrities, and I have heard him come on different, outlets and say, I'm clean, such and such is looking out for me. I checked into rehab. Then I've seen him backslide. He backslid one time, then he went back, and it's like, I do believe that there were people there, trying to be there for him, trying to help him. But you're talking about somebody who grew up in an era where this type of help and this type of nurturing didn't really, it existed, but it was looked at as, if you do this, you're weak. If you do this, so, something is wrong, but something wrong with you. Not in a we need to get you help way, but what's wrong with you? Like, I'm staying away from you. So that nasty stigma, especially being a rapper, that's something he probably would have got dissed for. Now, if you take therapy, people will clap their hands and say, "Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful." We encouraging each other to get therapy. They're talking about getting therapy in their raps. So it's just such a huge flip. And he was a street rapper. You talking about, being one of the toughest dudes out, but I'm laying on the couch talking to a shrink. It didn't. There's so many different elements tied up in that just would have made him look away. And I'm not saying that what happened was right, but the conversation, and I feel like the way we viewed those resources that could have helped him, we didn't have the right mentality. And again, we're on the
And
outside
not
looking in. We only get whatever they post on the internet, whatever articles we get. That's all we can look at, and we got to piece together what happened or what really didn't happen. We'll never know. But I know that he was really, really, really close with some people, because I'm like, him and Swiss Beats been working together since, oh my gosh, over 20 years, him and Locks. So it would be hard for me to believe that with that type of relationship and never seeing any public outcry or beef with those guys, that there weren't some conversations, or that there weren't, yo, I'm gonna get you right. Because I even remember Swiss Beats saying, yo, man, we got him in rehab. I know that it was there, but it's like, there's so many years of that trauma and that lifestyle and that
Right.
stuff, him being exposed to it, like that's a hard battle. Like imagine being used to something for 20, 25 years and one of your friends now is trying to get you out of it. Like what?
Right.
Like I could imagine the resistance, the backlash, I could just imagine how some of those conversations went. But
Well, we see it now, like even with food and diet and exercise. And I
yeah.
mean, try telling some friends, I know people that still eat at McDonald's, and it's no judgment because I'm sure a lot of our listeners still eat at McDonald's. Like, but it's again, that's a comfort. Like when you look at food and all of this health, all of wellness, these things come from deeply rooted. We go like you crave a French fry, and like that's coming from a childhood place, like a Happy Meal type craving. It's not just because today you craved a French fry, because there's so many different ways that there's different types of fries that you could have, that there's
Crinkle cut.
not that's not what I meant by
Oh.
type. Yes. I mean like variations in health, but still a fry. So you could
Yes.
go from, air frying is a lot better than deep
How
frying,
dare you?
which, is probably even deep frying at home in a better quality oil is better than a deep fried McDonald's fry. Like so all of these different things, there's levels.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't know, like with health, wellness, I am glad we are entering in a space where we are starting to look at the full impact, because I know people that are, I mean,
You've been
you
slapped in the
can
face with
be
the impact.
very you can be extremely fit, and your mental health and your spiritual health is out of alignment. You can be very spiritual and you have all the God in you, but overweight and pessimistic thinker. You can be super mindful and super spiritual and one with God in the whole universe. However, you are 300 pounds and morbidly overweight. Like there are so many different ways, and I think wellness, when I think of wellness, is like a pyramid, like mind, body, soul. And if any piece of that is out of whack, then you're not in your best, highest alignment. Like so it's looking at all of that. And no, you don't have to go vegan and be extreme, and
I tried it. It's
just
trash.
promoting alternative ways to dealing with our trauma and our lifestyles, because I mean so much is happening in this world, that is happening just in the world.
Yeah. Period.
Then that's one slice. Then you have what's happening in your world, which is in your head, your space, your life, your job. And then it's like when those things combine, it creates like this other alternative thing. Like how am I navigating all of this at the same time? And I think that we have to find healthier ways, because the point of doing everything, the point of going to work, the point of
Yep.
you know you're working out, all of this is for a better quality of life. And if you are not doing that and you're not increasing a better quality of life, even if you are a workaholic and you're a person that's all about the money and you want to get the money, there's no point in making all the money in the world if you are obese,
Can't enjoy it.
hypertension, all of these different things, and you can't enjoy it.
Terrible. It's
And there's no
terrible.
point in being the slimmest thing in the world, but you're so depressed and so anxiety filled and so like broken on the inside that you don't even realize that you're beautiful physically by standards. Like, and so therefore you bring harm to yourself and want to end your life. And I think that we have to we have to continue to promote health, wellness. Like, and I
Yep.
think that there's a difference between being healthy and wellness. And In my personal definition, that healthy is like checking the boxes. Like we all can check some boxes, but how is that scale ultimately balancing out? Like because it's
Hmm.
only checking the boxes of physical health, you're still not well. And
Yeah, it's an
I've made
overall
peaceful. It's an overall comprehensive look
continuous.
at yourself, right? And you're continuously trying to balance it out because sometimes you're like, my weight is, I'm good, I'm in a good space, but I just need some time for myself. I need to get my mind right. I got to get my heart right.
That's how you
Like
get better, y'all. The being the stuff
looking at
has
that, yes.
yeah. It needs to be habitual. It
Right.
needs to continue. It needs to be continuous. I don't mean to be extreme. I've had two health scares in my life. One on the extreme end, I could have literally died. I could have literally like my diet was so bad that I had polyps in my gallbladder, which can lead to cancer. That's how bad my diet was. And when I think about it, I may have cooked twice, maybe three times a month. That's how much I was eating out. And now when I look back at it, I'm like, oh my God, no wonder I was almost 300 pounds and I didn't feel good. Everything I ate was grease. I lived by Zaxby's, McDonald's, Publix, Burger King, Chinese spot. I lived by pretty much anything you would want to eat was within 5 miles of me. And it was convenient because it was on the way to work and on the way home to work. I know it's ready. I can go get it, come home, eat, lay down, drink a bath. So
Yeah.
that's what I was doing. And then when I went to the doctor and I got that health scare, and I was young, man. I was 20, like in my late 20s. And I'm like, no, like we not about to do this. Like we not about to do this. Especially when I looked at my family history and I'm like, bro, you are about to be in your 30s. You know high blood pressure is in your family, heart disease, cancer. Like you know this stuff is in your family. And by the grace of God, none of this stuff has touched you. Nah, don't do this to yourself. And that was
Right.
again like ever since then, and that was the early 2000s, mid 2000s, maybe 2011, 12, 13, somewhere in there. My overall eating habits changed forever. Like I don't even though I do backslide and I gain a little weight, I don't eat the same anymore. I cook way more. I introduce way
Mhm.
more vegetables and fruits into my diet, and that maintained overall. It maintained, and I got a trainer, lost weight, and I've been able to maintain it overall. I fluctuate between 220, 225, 215. I fluctuate, but I always stay there. I'm not going to ever balloon back up to 280 like I was or 240. I know how to recognize it now, and I also am more in tune with what I'm feeling. Going back to wellness, I know when I feel a little more fat than normal. Like it's because I'm in tune with myself. I know what, dang, man, I'm sluggish. Dang, I'm more lazy. What's going on? Well, what you been eating?
Mhm.
Have you been going on your walks? No, no. All right, hey, get your ass up. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And even having a plan B, like living in Virginia now, it's cold and it's cold. It's been, I was loving my walks. I was losing weight, but it has been cold for a long time. It's still cold. And I don't like being sick. So I stopped walking. But I was like, well, if you're not going to exercise as much or do the exercise you like, then you need to make a bigger change to your diet to balance it. I always
Mhm.
wanted to be balanced, and I always have to take a look at it because these health issues they're not fun. They're scary. And even on a deeper personal level, this is another thing. I had a testicular issue. I don't know what it was. There was it was a pain. It wasn't an STD. I got an ultrasound of my testicles, y'all. Like, and they your blood flow's fine, everything's fine. Nobody could find out what was wrong with me. I thought I was like, oh my God, like what is happening? Like I didn't know what to attribute it to. I'm getting all the tests done. I'm getting blood work done. I had nothing's coming up, and I'm like, well, what am I doing in my lifestyle? And I wasn't using drugs or anything. I wasn't drinking heavily, and I'm like, let me just change my diet. And
Diet comes to like usually everything. Even I watched a documentary today. Oh, not today. I watched a documentary a few days ago, and even climate change. I had no idea. Like the documentary was really good. It's
true.
called Before the Flood, and it came all the way down to they were like, well, what? Because that's such a big topic. and you
Mm-hmm.
feel so overwhelmed when you start discussing climate change and all these different things. And they said changing your diet, because the amount of cattle that's produced to feed the food supply in the way that people eat beef, and lamb and etc., that the cows, they produce a, like when they are eating, they produce a enzyme into the air, which is also, like, if that was just taken care of, that would drastically impact the climate change. And I was like,
Oh.
wow. Like, we eat so much beef and meats and all of these different things, which, this is not to, what's the word? I think people hear that and they automatically get tensed and put up a shield, but it's not to encourage you to, again, go vegan. I'm not vegan. I eat a lot of fruits and
Mm-hmm.
vegetables, and I just got a juicer, which I am very excited about. And I juiced this morning, but I mean, I don't know. That juicer had me feeling like it's a stress
The way
reliever.
you were
It's a
talking
lot.
about it, yo, it's
Yeah,
nothing like a good juice. It's nothing like it.
right. And but like when I was pushing the carrots through, it was like watching them, like, they were doing the whole of grinding, turning it into juice. And I was like, this feels good. Like, so I'm enjoying that, but like, I want people to feel good. Like, and it's not that hard to feel good. Even in the midst of chaos, even in the midst of all of this trauma and all of the things that's going on in the world, like, if we felt better, to like a little bit better to like address it, I feel like, man, what kind of change could we really like make? Because a lot of people are so tired and so fatigued and so numbing, and you know, it's a lot.
I'm,
And I've been there, actually. I got fluffy one time too. I did not have any health issues, but I started seeing, I mean, my face just was getting to a point of round. And
mm,
that's when I started doing CrossFit. Uh, I went extreme, obviously.
yeah,
And
it's scary. It's shocking.
right.
You've never
I was like,
seen
what is
yourself
going
like
on?
that.
I look like the Goodyear blimp. Like, no, the little tired man.
Yeah, Michelin.
So Michelin, that's it. That was me.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I changed my diet. I started working out. I started doing more. I created a more active lifestyle. And even now, I really don't work out. I do yoga.
Mm-hmm.
I walk. My two big purchases, I wanted to buy a juicer and I want to buy a bike. So I have the
Him and his
juicer.
bike.
I've been using it. I've been juicing since about a full week now.
Mm-hmm.
My skin, I have nothing on my skin, and when I tell you, it is like absolutely flawless. Like, there are no, like, nothing.
Mm.
Like,
It looks smooth.
I have nothing on my skin but moisturizer. Like, I was looking at my skin this morning, like, my God, like,
That's
where are
another
the
thing.
pores? Oh my goodness, I know you hate it, but I thought I would introduce her to the people. I looked at myself and I said, look at the skin. Okay, I am done. I will go back into my closet.
I'm gonna let her handle that. Don't ask me no questions. At
Speak in
exposure,
understanding,
at
people.
exposure, DM her and ask her about that. Don't ask me no questions
God,
about
we
that.
cannot handle it.
What you just said is profound and it goes deeper when we talk about not saying you have to be vegan. Shout out to Lawrence Inman, Break My Fifth Law. Check them out. He said even he does health and fitness and he works with clients who do bodybuilding and he encourages them to do what works for them. I'm not going to tell you to go vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, or whatever. Do
Right,
what works for you. I can give you a
right.
recommendation, but you have to do what works for you. The other thing we got to think about, and I guess this is just me being a teacher talking to my kids, I'm like, conservation, right? Conservation and the wise use of our resources. We are creating problems that our kids are going to have to deal with and that we're going to probably see and be a part of when we get older. But that's the impact that we're having. Like, we don't see it today and we say, I ain't got to do it. Somebody else will do it. But there's billions of us saying that. And we're just leaving it up to other people. when there's small changes that we can make that makes a ripple effect. Like y'all, the,
Recycling.
listen,
Sorry.
like it's no for real, and it's weird because like I just went grocery shopping and they had no chicken wings, none. Like this is the first time in a few months that this has happened, but that's weird. I'm not used to that in my lifestyle. That's just another like some people are like, oh, that don't mean no. Like nobody had chicken wings. Like that's the first time in my life that I've seen like a food shortage. Like this is America. Like it's I'm like, yo, we're having an impact. Like shit is shifting. Like stuff is changing. Things look different, and it's
Yep.
like making those small changes can make a difference. But Jessica really touched on the big point. Like when you change your diet, you're gonna become a different person. Like I didn't know this. Women, part of the reason why some women were attracted to me is because I was fluffier. And when I lost weight, I even had some women say to me, oh, I liked it when you were a little rounder. And I was like, I didn't even realize that that was a characteristic attached to me.
Me either.
Until I got unhealthy and really looked at myself and said, oh, nigga, you fat. Like, because I was almost 300 pounds. I'm only 5'10", and I was tiny as a kid. Like, I
You were
was a stick.
300 pounds, bro?
I was like 275, 280. Yeah, I didn't look it. I carry my weight very
Dang.
well. I don't look the weight that I am now, but like, yeah, I used to wear 3X shirts. I got an old picture. I look like two people, And I
My
was just,
God.
yeah, it was a short period.
Because I mean, I if I go through the Rolodex of my brain, like I remember you being bigger, but I really
I wasn't
that
always
was
that
like
big. It was after
right.
school, and it was
Right. So I remember you from school vividly,
yeah.
and then that piece I kind of remember you gaining weight, but it's like the same weight that all of us gain,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to acknowledge that shift. I will say that everybody goes through a shift, and
Oh
some
yeah.
people do something with it, and some people choose not. It is not that it doesn't happen, but it's a reality kick. Like you go to college or go through that your younger years,
Freshman
20s,
15,
and
whatever.
then after, as soon as I left Claflin, came back to, like maybe a year after Claflin, and lived on my own and started that living on your own period and what you eat and how you like it
Stress.
was it was like 4.5 years of slow progression to Michelin.
Mine was quick, and I just didn't notice.
And then when I moved to Texas, it was like, all right, I'm seeing these pictures. I have one picture. I can. Oh my God, we will have to post it. So that's what we'll do. We're gonna post. I just came up with this, and I
Sure.
hope he
Let's
agrees.
let's
We're
go.
gonna post our side by sides this week. Well, when this episode airs, side by sides of our health changes, and hope that it encourages you guys to like take your health seriously, and it doesn't have to be all at one time. Like this week, my new healthy thing is just implementing these fresh juices into my diet where I don't really drink anything but water, coconut water, and sparkling water. But
Hmm.
if if I need something, then I can have a juice, and it's packed with all kinds of good stuff. So
Nothing wrong with some good
that's my
old jelly
spiel.
rice.
Uh,
I gotta go
you have
find
some
that
other
picture.
things you wanted to talk about today?
Lastly, basically what we just said, I would call that arming yourself with information.
Mm,
So I've made a couple of shifts, a couple of personal changes just in the way that I've approached a couple things, and I'm the type of person who likes to arm themselves with situation. And I know arming yourself, you know, people who love you, people who care about you, people who don't love you, people who don't care about you will always drop things on your lap or send things your way. Shout out to Sean Polk. Sap, what's going on? He was a guest on the show talking about trucking, and one of the things he says is he doesn't really ask a lot of people for advice and things like that because when other people start talking to him, you kind of take on what they say, right? We can be influenced, we can be impact. That impact and influence is greater when you don't have your own knowledge base. And I'll give y'all just a personal example. Cryptocurrency, right? At a baby infant level of crypto, but I've been having conversations with a couple of friends. I did my own research and I invested in some. One of the people that I talked to about it, he gave me a great knowledge base about cryptocurrency. I was like, cool. And then like he put me onto some really great stuff that helped me, get moving. Then a few weeks later we were talking. He was like, nah, don't invest in that. Nah, man, that's going about. Nah. Now I just got great advice from this person that worked out, but I took his advice, but I also did my own research. The second time when he said, nah, you don't want to invest in this because XYZ, I didn't run with it. I did the same thing. I said, well, let me go see what he's talking about. Didn't make sense. Didn't add up. I said, well, what I'm seeing and who I'm watching back this stuff does not align with you saying I shouldn't invest in it. So I was like, I'm armed with the information. I'm going to invest in it. And I tripled my profits. So that is, again, going back to what we said earlier, you got to do what works for you. And it's okay to talk to other people and exchange ideas, but arm yourself with the information, because when you don't, you leave yourself open not for an attack, but you leave yourself open for just everybody is going to throw stuff at you and you're going to let it all stick. Like, make it a habit. Some stuff you're going to be comfortable with, some stuff you're not. But like, I just look at my portfolio and I'm just so glad that I took 30 minutes, an hour just to look at this stuff and say, oh my God, had I listened to him, I mean, I'm going to be real. Had I listened to him, I'd have missed out on like $2,000. Easy. From a $70 investment. Like,
Wow.
yeah. So I'm just like, that was like a wake up moment. And that's why I shouted out Sean, because when he said that on the show, I was like, that was something that stuck with me. I didn't think about. But I digress. When it comes to anything, especially your health, ladies and gentlemen, arm yourself with the information. Some of these things that work for other people won't work for you. There's certain food I can't eat. I have reactions to certain food. Like, certain food would literally make me vomit. I don't even know what's in it. I don't know what did it. I don't know why. It makes me nauseous. I can't do this quote unquote diet you want me to do. It don't work for me. Or when I do this type of diet, you're saying I'll get these benefits, but I'm sleepy. I'm tired. It brings me down. So you really got to, again, arm yourself with the information. That's just doing the work on yourself and doing the research and running through some things and saying, okay, I understand now. So that when you do have these conversations with people and y'all are either working together, or even when someone negative comes along and tries to hate, you have more reassurance. But back to what Jessica said, wellness, make it an ongoing thing. Don't just say, I did it for 5 months, I feel good. You're going to backslide a little bit, but you learn to catch yourself. You learn to put your hand out. Whoa. Okay, yeah. Let me make these adjustments. But yeah. Like, huge. Like, I don't even drink liquor like that anymore. I don't know the last time I bought a bottle of liquor. I love beer, but I've transitioned to wine because beer gives me a beer gut. Don't like it. Don't like when I get naked to be with a woman and I look down and I see Mr. Wilson, but I'm like, oh shit, he gotta come around the mountain. I'm just saying.
I was not ready.
This is the things that men don't say. But women don't say it to us because y'all love us and y'all care about us. But like, I'm like, wait a minute.
There's actually statistical data that I
There's
saw.
what kind of data?
Statistical. Okay. What does my shirt say? Country and culture.
Good.
It is a real thing. Statistical data that says that, I mean, you actually, depending on the pounds, and guys can go look this up yourself, but you gain or lose an inch, like, there.
Based off of weight?
I'm sorry?
Because of our weight?
Yes. The bigger you get, the more you lose.
That makes sense because the skin.
Yeah.
You stretching it. Got to go somewhere. So, okay. I got nothing else. Go ahead.
You ran out of that conversation.
No, that's funny. That's interesting. I didn't know. I'm not one of those weird people. Well, I'm not gonna call y'all weird. I'm sorry. I'm not a dude who measures himself. I hate when women say that. How big? I don't know. Come look at it. Like, I don't measure it. I'm not 15. I'm not 14 anymore.
Look at it.
That junk be killing me. Like, how do you even answer that question?
Comeback.
How do you answer
If
it
I was a
though?
guy, I would say that. I don't know. Come look at it.
Come get on FaceTime real quick. How about that? Like I don't have time for this,
Oh
and I'm not gonna hold up a
my
bunch of
god.
household items either. Like you have a 12 megapixel camera, you can see everything you need to see.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
goodness.
Oh
But
yeah.
y'all take care of yourselves, man. Like seriously, you know how we said at the end of the show, take care of yourself physically, mentally, financially. This is the conversation. Like
Yeah, this is the whole conversation. This is what that means, and it's not just a tagline. It's not just something to say. It's like really, like, I, and start with your kids. If you have kids, feeding them
yes,
healthy snacks, not always like junk. All of these dyes and stuff
give
in
them
our food,
fruit.
like,
I loved
and
apples when I was like, oh my god, I
and
would do a
grapes
backflip
and
for fruit.
tangerines, and it's still sugar. They still gonna get the sweet,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not a processed high fructose corn syrup that is equivalent. I mean, think about these processes, and this is like my last little. I know.
Pause real
It's,
quick. You gotta
oh,
find people like Jessica that you can have these types of conversations with. You gotta have friends that like these type of conversations are powerful, and you can. It's easier to make the journey when you have people around you that not always think it's funny. Oh, you drink wheatgrass and blah. No, ain't nobody doing that shit. Dog, you need people around you that's gonna be conducive to that type of behavior. I'm not saying drop your other friends, but you find some healthy fit friends. Like I have some healthy fit friends that not even on purpose motivate me. I love when my Nike app pops up and says such and such went on a walk. Congratulate them. Oh shit, I need to go on a walk. Like that kind of stuff helps. But go ahead,
yep.
unpause.
Okay. Thank you. Uh, I was just gonna say, like, we have to think about it from a very. I think we've been thinking about food, health, wellness, all of this from a lens of, nah, we don't do that. As if we are some miraculous species that don't need health. And it is equivalent to you buying a car and putting chocolate milk into it. Like, how is that car supposed to run?
Mm-hmm.
Or even for the people that have luxury vehicles, foreign vehicles, if your car is specifically designed to take 93 and you put 87 in it, it's going to yield a bad response.
Yes.
It's going to do something. It's going to short circuit. It's going to chuk chuk chuk. There's going to be some type of process. And our bodies, when what fuels our body truly is water. Our body is not designed to ingest. It wasn't really like, and I'm not saying only drink water. Those are the things that what our body physically needs to
Yeah.
do it. Now, granted, we have all of these amazing pieces in the body that can extract, like your liver and your kidneys, and they're doing these processes that purify and extract the water from it. But you can't get water from a 32-ounce Pepsi.
Yeah.
Like that's just that's not what the amount to turn that into it ain't gonna happen. And it's like we have to if we I think we thinking about it real far fetched instead of like in real layman's terms and looking at it as if this like my body ain't attached to me, and that's how disconnected we are from our mind
Yeah.
that we think that that ain't got nothing to do with me. It's so mind-boggling. Like
Oh,
you are connected to your whole body, mind, and soul. Yet we are so disconnected, and it. I don't know.
we have
Even
fake
for me,
measurements.
I struggle. Like we all struggle because we are truthfully all addicted to food, like in some
Mm-hmm.
capacity. Like we overeat. We have these emotional cravings, like the things that we ingest, like it just we got to have those real conversations. And I think that it comes down to food, and it comes down that is your fuel. Like technically
Mm-hmm.
any textbook will say food is fuel. So if you're putting the wrong fuel into your whole system that is designed for such a clean, pure basis of food, and everything we need is given to us in nature,
Yep.
then look at what you're just eating and look how non authentic or how processed, how much is manufactured. Like I literally shop the perimeter of the grocery store most of the time. Like they
Mm,
say, don't shop the inside of the grocery store because all of that is coming from a factory and a creation. Like
yeah.
nothing in the inside of the grocery store is like, I'm not gonna say nothing, but most things in the internal portion of the grocery store is manufactured.
Give
It's not
yourself some
fresh. So
give yourself some real measurements, y'all. Like some of us think because we can still carry all the groceries out the car on one trip, I'm good. I'm good. No, go out and try to run a quarter mile. You probably feel like you go and try to climb a fence.
and if you can
That's
carry the groceries, it ain't even that because most people can carry the groceries,
mm-hmm.
physically carry them, but they're huffing and puffing when they
Lungs
get in the
burning.
house. So
Yeah.
that's the indication right there that you not in like that should not that's not strenuous activity.
Go see how
That's a
many
day to
push-ups you
day
can do.
activity.
There's a point I couldn't do a push-up. Like a regular quote unquote male standard whatever military push-up. I couldn't do one. That's how out of shape I was. But we tell ourselves, you know, oh, I just picked up that box. It didn't feel that heavy. I'm good. We get that's like for some of us, that is the measurement. I can pick up this heavy thing. I'm good. I don't need to work out. I have enough to do what I want to do. No, go try to run. Go sprint as fast as you can and see how long you can do it. Y'all looking at movies and stuff saying, man, I'd have got out of there. No, the killer would have caught your ass first. Cause he could have walked and caught you. Like health is serious and it's an ongoing thing. But that's all we got for y'all. Thank you once again. I'm sorry, you got anything else?
No.
Thank y'all once again for joining us. Thank you for the continued support. I do want to acknowledge, yes, we are aware that there have been more police killings and more mass shootings, but it's a lot. We're not gonna say we're not gonna. I want to let y'all know we know it exists, and it's very heavy, and it's everywhere. It's on your social media. We know you see it. We know you know about it, and that's just not what we're gonna bring y'all all the time. There are gonna be times where we do talk about those things and bring them up, but we like to bring the lighter side and the we like to give light over here. Those things are terrible. We do acknowledge them. We do know that they happen. So I just wanted to let y'all know that because I know there's at least one person that was like, y'all only talked about DMX. There's a multitude, and when I talk about these things, even like with the DMX situation, I like to know what I'm talking about if I'm going to comment on it, and I haven't done any extensive research because it's disheartening and it's heavy. But I just wanted to make sure to put that out there for y'all because there's been a couple of times it's happened so often. We've done episodes where we forgot to mention it because it's so much. It just happens so often. So I just wanted to make sure I put that out there for y'all that I didn't want y'all to think we're just clueless inside this bubble for those of you who may be new or something like that. But um yes. So
Yeah, and to your point, without prolonging any further, these because all of this is going out there, and it's because there's so many outward forces trying to murder us and end us in a way. I think that it's also important to pour into us and be fuel on how to navigate that. And if you're tired from seeing the brutality and all the things that are happening in the world, I think that you don't not adding to that on a personal side, not adding to the fatigue because you're not eating properly or you're not thinking properly and mental health and all of these different pieces. I think that they are also kind of in ways to pour into you and fuel you to keep going because it is heavy and it's heavy for all of us. This week was a lot. I mean, I believe four compounded, and that's on a national scale. That's not talking about the hick towns where nobody actually got it on footage or these
yeah.
places in the world that we don't have video for it. The
Yeah.
only reason these are on because there's a piece of footage to match it.
Mm-hmm.
And so stay encouraged. Know that you are loved and you're valuable. You matter to us. And keep going. Keep trying to fuel yourself in this very toxic, chaotic world. So
Yes.
that's all I have.
Y'all can check out all our information in the links.
Yes.
Down
I
below.
actually have a blog post coming out. It will probably already be out by this. Yeah, it'll be already be out. So you can check that on Exposure. Uh, find my information at Exposure, EXPOZHER, as well as at Lash and Soul, LASHANDSOUL. And Rob, how can they find you?
Didn't I just say I wanted to skip at complete underscore vision complete spelled with a K? There's actually, it's funny, we talked about wellness. I put up a picture and everyone laughed at me. It was of me flipping a tire, and then the other one was me passing out on the ground because I used to pass out on the ground after my workouts, and everyone laughed at me. So shout out to y'all. But I gotta get back to flipping my
Shout out
tire.
to you.
I don't like y'all. Y'all engaged when they're making fun of myself. Y'all get engaged like I don't know what. I got like
Because that makes people feel better. Whoever these people are, like they likely probably need to be doing these things themselves. And I don't know who it is, but
it's funny.
that's the culture. And
Thank
you
y'all.
know, keep doing it.
Saw me laid
Those
out. Somebody talking about what's
feet
that?
were laid. I will say that. I didn't comment and I didn't look at the comments,
What?
but you were just like, whoo.
Someone saw that talking about what's that workout called? Say forget you. All right, y'all. Until next time, take care of yourselves physically, mentally, financially.
And spiritually.
We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.